Tell me I'm wrong about this. LeBron James just can't help himself.
LeBron James has gone through 3 head coaches in just 4 seasons. Throughout that stretch, whispers have circulated about his strained relationship with team leadership, yet few have openly challenged him. Now, someone finally has, and the fallout has been impossible to ignore. When the Los Angeles Lakers appointed J.J. Redick as head coach in June 2024, he stepped into one of the most unforgiving jobs in professional sports. The Lakers sideline has become a revolving door, swallowing coaches at a pace that would make even veteran NBA minds hesitate. But Redick, transitioning from a successful media career known for sharp analysis and fearless commentary, believed he could succeed where others had failed, guiding a team still orbiting around one of the most powerful figures the league has ever seen. That figure is LeBron James. For more than 2 decades, he hasn't simply been a superstar player. He has functioned as a franchise cornerstone and unofficial advisor in personnel matters, and, depending on perspective, a shadow executive influencing every organization he joins. Since Redick took over, tension has steadily built between a coach determined to assert authority and a player accustomed to shaping the system around himself. The first visible cracks appeared in December 2025 after James returned from a foot injury that kept him out at the start of the season. Following a game, Redick openly admitted the team's offensive flow had become less structured since James re-entered the lineup. He pointed to erratic half-court possessions and a lack of cohesion. That alone was bold. A first-year coach publicly suggesting that his most decorated player was contributing to the team's offensive struggles, but he didn't stop there. Redick warned that upcoming practices and film sessions would be uncomfortable.
The more remarkable thing is how much he cares in his 23rd year with all his accomplishments. So it's not the next, he's going to get another.
Then came the statement that sent shockwaves through Lakers discourse. He made it clear he would not tolerate another 53 games played in that manner. It wasn't a fleeting emotional reaction, it was a declaration. The existing structure in which the offense constantly reshaped itself around a 41-year-old's rhythm and preferences was no longer acceptable to him. Although Redick accepted partial responsibility, the underlying message was unmistakable. The Lakers' identity crisis extended beyond coaching tactics. It stemmed from a system gravitationally centered on one individual. What made Redick's candor stand out was his acknowledgement of something few in the organization had publicly addressed since 2018. Coaching LeBron James requires navigating an unusual power dynamic. Redick admitted that not everyone feels comfortable instructing James, emphasizing that it's not only about respect, it's about control. That admission revealed the complicated hierarchy at play. Coaching wasn't just about strategy, it involved managing influence, reputation, and job security in an environment where the player's stature carries enormous weight. Publicly, Redick praised James' dedication in his 23rd season, calling his sustained competitiveness remarkable. Yet beneath that praise lay subtle tension. In one revealing comparison, Redick likened James to baseball legend Greg Maddux, a master so confident in his craft that he could override signals because he trusted his own judgment above all else. While intended as a compliment, the analogy carried an implicit truth. Sometimes the team's best player dismisses the coach's call, and occasionally he's correct. Redick even admitted that there are moments when James rejects instruction outright.
So all things considered, 12 games over 500 going into the break. I think he had, 10 games with Reeves and Doncic and James all on the court.
And that he may have a point. That dynamic reflects less a traditional chain of command and more a nightly negotiation between authority and experience. Statistics added fuel to the debate. In the games following his return, James posted a 4 or 5 box plus minus that analysts interpreted as a sign the team was statistically less effective during those stretches. For a player of his caliber, those numbers suggested more than a slump. They hinted at a possible mismatch between the team's present needs and what he can deliver at this stage of his career. Reports later surfaced that James reacted strongly behind closed doors to Redick's public comments. Tensions reportedly flared in meetings, and the locker room atmosphere grew strained. Redick had done what previous Lakers coaches often avoided. He voiced concerns openly instead of managing them quietly. The common thread linking Vogelham and now J.J. Redick is not coaching incompetence. It's the shared realization that traditional coach-player authority doesn't fully apply when coaching LeBron James. The moment that hierarchy is tested, the job security clock begins ticking. That dynamic extends beyond the locker room and onto the public stage. Over the years, James has shown a pattern in post-game press conferences. When questioning becomes repetitive or uncomfortable, he often ends the exchange abruptly. During the 2024 playoffs against the Denver Nuggets,
I don't understand what's going on in the replay center, to be honest.
after a blown 20-point lead capped by a Jamal Murray buzzer beater, James criticized the league's replay system. His frustration escalated quickly, especially when discussing a reversed foul call involving D'Angelo Russell. He questioned the purpose of the replay center before dropping the mic and walking away. It wasn't unprecedented. After Game 1 of the 2018 NBA Finals, the infamous J.R. Smith clock mismanagement incident, James answered a repeated question, put on sunglasses mid-session, and exited with a pointed, "Be better tomorrow." In 2024,
D'Lo clearly gets hit in the face on the drive.
following the Lakers' elimination by Denver, he declined to address whether it might be his final game as a Laker and left the podium without elaboration. Criticism has come from former players as well. Ends Freedom claimed many players are reluctant to team up with James, suggesting he deflected blame during the disappointing 2021-22 season. Former teammates Richard Jefferson and Channing Frye described the experience of playing alongside him as mentally demanding due to his relentless expectations. Meanwhile, analyst Stephen A. Smith labeled James difficult for executives to manage, citing a pattern of public roster dissatisfaction and heavy influence over trades.
What the fuck do we have a replay center if it's going to go? It doesn't make sense to me.
Anonymous assistants went even further, describing the Lakers' coaching role as uniquely challenging, not solely because of James, but because his presence magnifies every structural flaw within the organization. The strain between Redick and James reflects deeper fractures within the franchise. Those tensions extend beyond the bench and into ownership. Jeannie Buss, who transitioned into a minority ownership role after the Lakers' majority stake was sold to billionaire Mark Walter in 2025, has reportedly experienced growing frustration regarding James' place in the franchise narrative. From the outset of James' arrival in 2018, there were whispers of internal discomfort over the perception that he single-handedly rescued the organization. After the 2020 title, some within ownership reportedly felt that the broader organizational contributions were overshadowed by the narrative centered around James. The failed Russell Westbrook trade became a turning point. James was widely reported to have supported the move. When the experiment collapsed and the team missed the playoffs, he distanced himself from responsibility. That episode allegedly led Buss to privately explore drastic options, including withholding a contract extension or even considering trade discussions, reportedly even with the rival LA Clippers. Ownership also faced pressure from James' agency, Clutch Sports Group, over roster decisions and contract demands. Drafting his son, Bronny James, in 2024 added another layer of complexity, blending family considerations with competitive strategy. Coaching staff reportedly had to balance objective evaluation with the reality that Bronny's father remained the franchise's most influential figure. James publicly dismissed reports of ownership friction, emphasizing that he focuses on basketball rather than off-court narratives. Buss later attempted to soften the story, expressing appreciation for what James has contributed to the Lakers. Yet beyond public statements, performance concerns have surfaced. At 41, analysts have noted that James struggles more with sustained ball pressure, committing turnovers against elite defenders such as Chris Dunn, Kawhi Leonard, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Injuries, including nerve-related issues, have limited his availability and complicated the Lakers' postseason positioning. His history of surprise departures from Cleveland Cavaliers and Miami Heat adds to front office anxiety. The organization cannot fully plan long-term while uncertain about his timeline. Redick has acknowledged that balancing James alongside Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves requires constant adjustment. The daily details, he admitted, demand more from him as a coach than he ever anticipated as a player. Championship execution, after all, lies in those small structural disciplines, the very details that can erode when a single player's preferences reshape the system. The broader picture remains stark. 3 coaches in 4 years have encountered the same structural tension. Vogel won a title and was dismissed. Ham reached the conference finals and was removed. Redick, early in his tenure, has already voiced concerns publicly that others previously kept private. Commentator Skip Bayless recently analyzed James' remarks about draft prospect Cooper Flagg, suggesting that even praise was framed through James' own origin story and challenges. Whether fair or theatrical, the critique reinforces a recurring theme. Environments often adjust to James rather than James adapting to them. As the 2025-26 season unfolds with the Lakers hovering around 500, defensive improvements hint at potential if discipline prevails. But looming trade deadlines, uncertain long-term commitments, and a coaching staff willing to challenge the franchise's central figure raise a larger question. It isn't simply whether the Lakers can build around LeBron James. It's whether any organization ever truly could without eventually confronting the same unavoidable tension.